Now, we are on to the next inspiring keynote. Actually, 2 days ago was the 4th anniversary of the World Computer Summit, and Zurich was buzzing with the DFINITY crowd. There was over 1,000 people coming from global hubs of the internet computer. And it was a very, very exciting event. So now we're really happy to have Dominic, the founder and chief scientist of the DFINITY Foundation, here with us. He will give us his vision of the future.
Thank you. So we may take a few minutes because our internet connection's not working. It's the kind of thing that always happens when you've got a demo, right? It should be the complex stuff that fails, but hopefully sorted. So while that's happening, how many of you here know what the self-running internet is or have heard about that concept? Okay, a few, at least. So, who of you, when you hear the word built on blockchain XYZ, who of you, distinguish when you hear the word on-chain between something running on a blockchain and maybe running on Amazon Web Services and having a token? Who would, amongst the audience, okay, here's another way of asking it. Amongst the audience, do you feel the word on-chain is primarily used in conjunction with services running on Amazon, thanks, and a token, having an associated token, or, and we'll have 2 different rounds of voting, or do you feel the expression on-chain is primarily associated with a service running fully on the blockchain, on the network? So there are 2 choices. When you hear the word on-chain, do you associate that with running on Amazon Web Services or some other, big tech cloud, and then having an associated token? That's choice 1. Or choice 2, when you hear the expression on-chain, do you think, well, that means running on a blockchain? So who here thinks about it as option 1? Okay. Who here thinks about it as option 2? Okay, that's very interesting. So I'll tell you this, and you're probably not going to believe me, you had to do your own research, but outside of the internet computer ecosystem, there is no blockchain in the world that can run even a simple app on the network itself. So when you hear Coinbase, for example, saying on-chain's the new online, what they mean is that people are building, if you build something, anything that's built that has an associated token is on-chain. It doesn't mean running on the network. So there's not a single blockchain in existence outside the realm of the internet computer that can store a phone photo. So even when you have an NFT, that's not on the blockchain. The blockchain's on typically Amazon S3. There's been a few cases where people forgot to refresh the credit card and the NFT collection disappeared. And you just got a link to that NFT on the blockchain. That's universally how it works. So it was very interesting because our kind of research shows that 95% of people actually maybe have this misunderstanding that on-chain means something's running on a blockchain, right? Here's a service running on blockchain XYZ. And in excess of 95% of people in the industry understand that as that it's actually running on-chain, right? But what it really means is it's running on Amazon Web Services, fully under the control of a developer where it can be hacked. And it's just got an associated token. So, you guys just reflect the broader industry and the misunderstanding. So what I'm going to show you today anyway is you're going to go through 2 leaps. One leap is actually you're going to see something that's running from a blockchain and understand that, because there's a big difference between something running on Amazon Web Services with a token and something actually running, really running off a network entirely. And you're going to see something new called the self-running internet. So how many of you have heard about AI smart contracts? Okay. So how many of you are aware that there's only one network that actually can run AI models on chain? It's the internet computer. Okay, a few. But it's kind of like, that's also the case. If you can't store, just think of this. If there's not a single blockchain in existence that can store a phone photo, a photo you took with your phone, like 5 meg or something, Of course, you can't run an AI model, right? Because to run an AI model, you have to do a lot of computation, and the weights, obviously, minimally tens of gigabytes for a small large language model, and if you want to run a big one, it's going to be in the hundreds of megabytes, or at least 70 gig. Okay, so we got this thing working. So I'm going to run you through super quick, because we haven't got much time. Caffeine is a platform that enables a self-running internet. So there are a lot of leaps here. The first leap you need to understand is that there are two kinds of blockchain. There are the ones outside of the internet ecosystem that process tokens, and that's all they do. And the word on-chain is very deliberate. It's kind of misleading. It's like industry marketing, right? Sue me if I'm lying to you, but I'm telling you the truth, and you can do the research. And so, as per the rest of the industry, 95% of people and 95% of you here are unaware of that. But the first leap you've got to make in understanding is that there is one blockchain where you can actually use it as a tech stack and build fully on-chain, really on-chain, right? And there's another thing coming, internet computer projects benefited from more than $500 million of R&D. So when you look at a lot of projects, like in Zug and so on, you'll find they're just shell companies. There's no one there. If you go downtown in Zurich, you'll see a 7-story building, DFINITY headquarters, and that's where the R&D is happening. So now the next phase of blockchain, what's really happening is that you'll be able to talk to the internet in the sense that a decentralized blockchain network is the internet, and you'll be able to quite literally create stuff by talking. So I'm going to whisk through this, if this works. So Steve Jobs talked about tools and people doing wonderful things with them. The question is, what if anybody could create apps and services, online apps and services, just by talking? And this isn't vibe coding. And that they were sophisticated, and they were secure, and they're updatable. And they really ran on a self-running internet, on a blockchain. Where are we going? The answer is there are only 35,000 Web3 engineers in the world. There are 15 million full-stack engineers worldwide. But once you give people access to the self-running internet, anyone with a smartphone, there are about 5 billion people with internet-connected smartphones in the world. Anyone who can speak a natural language, you don't even have to type. As long as you can speak, that's enough. You can basically develop stuff just by talking. And everyone will become a builder. Everybody will be able to create all kinds of internet functionality, pretty much whatever they want. So we won't spend too long. I haven't got much time. It's better just to get to a demo. But there's a lot of things you can create. It's infinite. What's interesting, particularly, I think, is in the context of personal apps, you can create new kinds of online service and pioneer new kinds of online paradigms. So, for example, you could create a hyperlocal social network for your family, which has special rules. Maybe there's like a shared photo gallery where you can add giant emojis to photos and things like that. Maybe you can create an esports system where you can compete for Bitcoin with your friends. Enterprise is going to see huge changes. You'll be able to get enterprise systems for like 1% of the cost, 1% of the time to market. And because you're building on a blockchain, you'll benefit from the sovereignty and resilience and security only decentralized systems can provide. So you're going to see this in a second. Internet computer, if you're wondering, it's a sovereign network. Are most of you aware that outside of Bitcoin, most blockchains run on big tech clouds? Like they're just cloud instances. That's what the network nodes are. Okay, so Bitcoin, like Satoshi is very keen on this. Like it's a network created by sovereign hardware, and there are all kinds of benefits to that. The only other network that does this is the internet computer, and it actually runs on a network of special devices called node machines in the same way Bitcoin's created by hashing devices. And these are run by independent people around the world, parties called node providers. And they're combined by Internet Computer Protocol, which is a mathematically secure protocol, to create a kind of a revolutionary cloud environment that's serverless, and we'll get to that. And essentially running a new kind of smart contracts. And what's interesting within the context of this demo, and we're going to see today, is we've been working on making this environment a cloud for AI. So we've been adding technologies and developing technologies that enables AI to build much more productively than it can, for example, on Web 2 platforms. So what happens? How is this going to work? What you're about to see? Quite literally, it's conversational, fully conversational. This isn't vibe coding, it's self-writing. So you talk to the AI. It writes the underlying software for you, deploys it, and out comes the app. And the app is just on a URL. You get a URL, but that URL is coming off a blockchain. And you can just refresh that URL to see the app. You can keep on talking, and it'll be updated. And you can refresh the app, and there's your updated functionality. And when AI codes and built solo, which is what this platform and the underlying self-writing internet technologies make possible, you basically have self-writing apps. And the distinction, of course, is that with self-writing, there is no human in the loop. You're creating production apps in different kinds of context. And you can imagine, this is a crypto technology, it's based on math, so there are technologies that ensure that, for example, when the AI updates an app or a service, AI makes mistakes all the time, right? Everyone knows that. But when the AI makes a mistake, there are guardrails, mathematical guardrails. It's in fact not able to update apps and services in ways that would cause data loss. So that gives you an idea of the ways that crypto technology is being applied here. So in the future, the internet will write itself. In just a few years, nobody's going to think, in the main, with a few exceptions, people will think of tech stacks. People will think of self-writing platforms as tech stacks. So when you think of a tech stack, you won't be thinking, well, I'm going to get Amazon Web Services, I'm going to get Postgres, I'm going to get Tomcat Java Server, all this kind of stuff. You don't think like that. You'll be thinking, right, where's my self-writing stack? That's what you'll think of as the stack. And you'll, for the vast majority of cases, just talk to AI in a conversational way and create what you want. Okay, so demo, let's see. So how could this go wrong? How much time have I got? 4 minutes, okay, long. So it's actually a mobile-first paradigm, but there's not time to hook up a phone, but I'll squeeze that browser to show you what happens. You might notice this empty app, which has not been used before, looks like a bit like WhatsApp or Signal or something like that. It's like a chat app, right? And that's because in the future, the development of apps and services on the internet is going to be conversational. You're going to speak to the internet, and all of your development will be conversational. So let's create a new project. And I'll create something very simple to begin with. We're going to get much more complex, don't worry. Create a Bitcoin web page. Now, this is deliberately absurdly simple, but I want to just give you some orientation. So, oh gosh, I'll just say no, whatever, just give it a quick. So, it's too simple. No, just, oh God, where's this keyboard? Create a web page with a Bitcoin symbol. We're going to do something complex in a second, so we don't waste time doing this. Go on, just do it. Thank you. So, we're now in the chat, and now you see it's writing a spec. So this is the self-writing paradigm. We're not writing the spec, it's writing the spec. Obviously, as we keep on talking, the spec will get updated, but our interface is just the AI. Hopefully this will be done soon. It's going to write the code, and then it's going to deploy it to the internet computer, and then you're going to see that the code thing is going to move to the draft thing, and you're going to see the thing. You're going to see it. So you're going to see it hopefully appear here, but then I'll show you it's on a URL. So you can add your own URL, you can create stuff. And obviously, if this is just a draft we're creating, but if you're doing something in production, you give it a proper domain name, right? Actually, you can push drafts into production. There you go. Okay, and just so I'm going to click on this link just to show you. So it's actually on a URL, right? So it's a separate thing. There you go. All right. Okay. But this is very simple. Look, I think what's interesting about this, though, is that the whole thing is being served from the internet computer. There's actually even the back-end code is the stuff that runs on the internet computer is empty, because, of course, all it's doing is serving a page with a Bitcoin on it. So let's create another project. And this will be, create a website for a crypto conference whoops, that's, oh crikey, use this keyword, starts on the 5th of June and runs for 2 days. There are 2 stages. We're going to be vague because we're going to update this, because this is, you just keep on talking, but we're going to give it something reasonable to start off with. There are 2 stages. Make it possible to register speakers. Make it possible to assign time slots on the stages and assign speakers to speakers to the time slots. Let's just get that going. That's enough for now, right? So this will obviously be, don't ask me a question, just do it. This AI is very, I think it's conversational. I did a demo, actually, it was very funny, the first one 2 days ago. You can hear my voice is a bit croaky, it's been a busy few days, but I did the demo, and we built something quite complex. I had more time, I'd actually created 5 apps in parallel to show quite the level of productivity you can get. And it was a tennis it was like an app for tennis bookings for a tennis coach. I said, where's this feature? I told you to do this thing, and it answered back, I actually added this feature. And I logged out as admin, logged back in, and there it was. But so you can actually see, I mean, down the side, if you're not used to this kind of thing, that's like a kind of like zoomed out view of the code that it's writing. It's writing a lot of code. You as a human being, if you're an engineer, it would take a very long time to write all this. What's interesting, though, is with the inference optimization technologies coming down the pipe, this whole thing will take a few seconds. The productivity is really incredible. While this is doing, let's create another one running in parallel. So, oops, create a crypto portfolio tracker. It should, be possible to add assets by ticker symbol, pull the prices from the Binance. I spelled that right? Binance API. Let's do that. So that'll keep going, and then with our crypto conference website, I store it in the front end. Back end, by the way, is this one, Motoko. So if you look at this, this is using something called enhanced orthogonal persistence. It's actually a revolution within a revolution. On the Internet computer, we collapsed with this new code. It's a language designed for AI. So it's a language designed to enable AI to program in a much more productive way than it can do with kind of Web 2 technologies. And you'll notice there are no files, there's no database access. One of the things we did, it took a lot of work. We collapsed the difference between data and logic. So the data lives in the logic. And this is very important because it simplifies back-end logic, and it makes it possible to, it's one of the technologies that enable us to prevent data loss. So when you create a new version of an app, the AI has to specify how you migrate the logic, which contains the data, and that enables us to do various things that ensure it's actually not possible to lose data. So this is the back-end language is called Motoko, it's actually able to write it. Actually, behind Caffeine, it's not just one AI. There's an ensemble of AIs, and the back-end stuff comes out incredibly quick. Naturally, it's been like fine-tuned on Motoko. So, okay, it's fiddling around with some front-end stuff. So this thing's going. Okay, writing some stuff too. So it's going chugga. But, I think what's important to see while it's still working is just the sheer volume of software this stuff's able to produce. Of course, if you're using this in your own life, as a personal life or entrepreneurial life or business life, whatever it is, you wouldn't just be doing this in a couple of interactions like we're doing here. It's a conversation. And that's why it looks like a chat app. In the future, every project's just a conversation. You talk to the AI and have a conversation, and you'll build stuff, and you'll ask it to add features and fix things, and improve things, and things will evolve. Oh, it's done it? Oh, cool, thanks. Yeah, cool. So this one, okay, let's just bring it, just to prove that it exists outside of the environment. Okay, add asset. Let's do a Bitcoin because that's the obvious one. How many have I got? 100, yeah, I wish. Okay, there you go. All right. So, there's an ICP. I mean, this is very simple. So we're going to go back to the, what did I say, 10,000, yeah. Okay, it's got the ICP price, etc. I mean, you can see how this goes, right? So with so this is kind of easy. What other feature might there be? Time. All right, let's just switch back and see if it's done our website for the. Okay, crypto conference. Okay. So just quickly to log in, you're going to see internet identity, demo, gosh. Ta-da. Okay, so now I'm in, and there's an admin panel is there. Okay, so I can add a speaker, add myself. Oops, I'm not going to worry about spelling mistakes, which is hard for me. Okay, so there's me added as, I mean, you can see this how it's going to go around and registered as a speaker. I can create time slots. It's fully featured. We could be adding like attendee registration. We can do panels. It's already got that. You can assign multiple speakers to slots. Pretty much, you could engineer something better than the Crypto Valley conference website, I'd probably say. And without any technical skills, half an hour, right? And of course, it would be running on blockchain, which means that what are the advantages of blockchain? Tamper-proof, immune to traditional cyber attacks. You don't need firewall or anti-intrusion software or anti-malware. So it's tamper-proof. It's unstoppable. Obviously, in this case, it's not autonomous because we're deliberately maintaining control. It's a conference, right? If you wanted very simple with internet computers, multi-chain capabilities, you could charge people Bitcoin to attend. You could have that functionality. But I'm out of time, so hopefully you enjoyed that. Thanks.